Welcome. My name is Peter Strong. I'm a professional psychotherapist based in Colorado, and I offer online therapy and online counseling via Skype worldwide to help you manage anxiety and panic attacks, as well as depression and other common psychological problems. So, panic anxiety is really an example where we become highly contracted into the emotion itself. This process of emotional contraction we refer to as reactive identification. It's where you become so identified with the emotion that it basically consumes you. You lose your perspective and your identity as your true self and become trapped inside the intense emotion of anxiety. So this process of contraction is a key feature of panic attacks, and indeed that's how it feels when we have a panic attack. It literally feels like the walls are closing in, and we contract into this very narrow, confined space. So it's very scary. Panic attacks are really terribly stressful and cause a lot of emotional suffering. So how do we work with panic attacks? Well, the methods that I have developed and that I will teach you over Skype during our sessions together is called mindfulness therapy, and it's a very, very good way of working with the mind. Mindfulness is a way of developing conscious awareness of the mind, of learning how to become the observer and develop objective consciousness to see the emotions and the thoughts and the memories and the traumas and other contents of mind without becoming identified with them, without losing that perspective as your true self. In mindfulness therapy and psychology, we define the true self as the observer mind, that which can see the content but is not identified with the content. So the way to overcome this emotional contraction that occurs during intense anxiety attacks and panic attacks is to develop this perspective as your true self, as the observer. And we do this by training in mindfulness. And the training method is called mindfulness meditation. So this is where we are meditating on the anxiety itself and other emotions associated with the anxiety, on any emotions that have this contracting effect in the mind. These we must meditate on. Some people think that meditation means escaping the mind. That is not true. It's not a very good form of meditation if it's about escaping the mind, because you have to live with your mind. So mindfulness meditation is about meditating on the mind. It's about changing the relationship so that you can see the contents of the mind objectively and not become controlled by the contents. So we meditate on our emotions. We at first may become reactive. Of course we will. But we remember our mission, and our mission here is to return to that state of being the observer. And this way we gradually train out of reactive identification, and we develop our true self, which is greatly expanded by its very nature, and it does not suffer. Only the little self, the contracted little self, suffers. So we meditate on our emotions, we develop this objective consciousness, or equanimity, as it's also called in Buddhist psychology. And then we work on responding to that emotion itself as if it was a child or something in need. It needs our compassion. It needs our help to heal. When we stop reacting to it, that's the first step in helping it heal. That's the first step in the response of compassion, which is a major part of mindfulness. But we can go much further than just stopping the process of reactive identification, because we can then start to work with that emotion to promote its healing. In mindfulness therapy, as I have developed it over the years, I find working with the imagery of the emotion to be particularly effective. So when we're exploring the emotion as the objective true self, the observer, we will notice that the emotion is made up of imagery. This imagery is actually what creates the emotion. So when we get to see the imagery, we're investigating the real internal structure of the emotion. And we can help change that imagery, because when you are conscious, you have choice. That is almost the definition of consciousness. It's different than reactive habitual consciousness. It's pure, unconditioned consciousness. That's the nature of the true self. So we can help that imagery change. Now, when the imagery changes, the emotion changes. And when the imagery has changed enough, the emotion heals. It resolves itself. The anxiety goes away. The panic attacks stop. So working with anxiety involves learning how to meditate on the anxiety, learning how to work with the imagery of the anxiety, and then helping that heal. So that is a brief introduction to the mindfulness therapy method that I have developed for working with anxiety and panic attacks. If you would like to learn more, please contact me via the contact page. Tell me more about yourself and what you're struggling with, and I would be happy to answer your questions, and we can set up a Skype therapy session. So please contact me, and let's get started on your path to recovery. Thank you.